Hey everyone, Caden here, and welcome to my first video for my ChatGPT for Schools series, where I'll be talking about how ChatGPT can be utilized in schools to help both teachers and students learn and teach whatever subject more effectively. So each episode I'm going to be focusing on a different subject, and as you can see from the title, this episode I'm going to be talking about math, and I'll also touch a little bit on science because I think they're very closely tied and ChatGPT has similar implications for both subjects. So, for math, the effects of ChatGPT are entirely positive in my opinion. ChatGPT can explain literally any concept you want it to and give step-by-step explanations on how to do those types of problems, and it's frankly amazing. For example, if we hop on over to ChatGPT, I can ask it to explain what an integral is. And it will spit out at least from my experience, a pretty good explanation of what an integral is. And this is an amazing tool for people who want to review and learn, who might be slightly confused about a subject and want it to be able to ask follow-up questions. Like if there was a particular part of this explanation that I didn't quite understand, I could ask follow-up questions to have in order to try to deepen my learning and smooth out any issues that I might have. On top of this, if I'm not quite happy with this definition, like I mentioned, I can ask follow-up questions, but I can also ask it to explain in simpler terms. So I'll do that right now. Could you explain this in simpler terms? And this is actually a very powerful rule when working with ChatGPT generally, because this will have it explain basically anything in a way that anyone really could understand. Now, with this definition of an integral, it's not going to be that much better, because this is about as simple of a definition as you can really get. But it will at least try. You can see that it's using an analogy here, talking about cars in order to try to root this learning and this lesson about integrals in something that you might understand better, where it didn't do that before. So it's going to try to explain it in a little bit of a simpler way, in a way that maybe you can understand better. But again, you can ask follow-up questions to have it, if there's a particular part that you're struggling with. Now, the other thing that it can do, which is frankly amazing, is it can generate practice problems for any topic. So I can just ask, could you generate some practice problems on that topic? And what it will do is it will generate some practice problems. And it usually generates about 5, and it will just spit out those problems. And let's say I was looking at these and I was like, okay, well, I don't know how to do indefinite integrals yet. I only know how to do definite integrals. Then you could say, let me fix that. I don't know how to do definite, yeah, we can do it that. Definite integrals. Could you only give indefinite integral problems? And then it will narrow down and just give you some indefinite integrals to work with. And this is kind of magical, because what this means is that ChatGPT can act as basically a one-on-one tutor. Because if there's one of these problems that maybe you were struggling with or you just want to check answers for, you can have it explain how to solve that problem. Like if say we look at number 4 and we're like, okay, I don't know how to solve the indefinite integral for a sine function, then you can ask it, how do you solve problem 4? It will spit out an answer. And in this case, it got it wrong, and it grabbed the wrong problem. So what you can do then is you can actually just edit it, and either you can just tell it that's the wrong problem. I was referring to problem 4 before, and ChatGPT does this sometimes. Or alternatively, you can actually just copy paste this in, and it will give an explanation and solve the problem for you. And it acts as basically a one-on-one tutor. And this is an incredibly powerful tool for people who may not have access to a one-on-one tutor or those types of resources, because ChatGPT, again, it's completely free. Anyone can use it, and it's frankly amazing that this tool is now just available to anyone. It can explain any concept. It will answer follow-up questions, generate practice problems, provide answer keys to those practice problems. It's frankly amazing. One thing to keep in mind, though, about ChatGPT is, again, and I mentioned this in my previous video, it gets stuff wrong, and it gets stuff wrong quite often. But it's honestly not unlike Google. If you Google a problem, particularly if it's a more complex problem, it very well you might find the wrong answer and get the wrong solution. And ChatGPT similarly will sometimes spit out the wrong answer. For that reason, I personally recommend only utilizing this as a review mechanism to review concepts you've already learned and been taught. That way, if it spits out something that's like blatantly wrong, you will be able to recognize that. I would not use it right now to learn a new concept that you don't already have a solid foundation on. And I have personally used ChatGPT quite a bit so far in my time, and it saves both me and my math teacher so much time, where we don't have to go through that back and forth of emailing, trying to set up a meeting, or just answering various questions. Instead, I can save my teacher the time and save myself the time and just ask ChatGPT the question, and it's a really, really valuable tool. So I would recommend, as a student, utilize this. Take advantage of this this tool, and again, I would only use it for review right now, and utilize it to learn new concepts that you might, or to learn concepts that you might be struggling with, and smooth out any problems you might be having. As a teacher, I would recommend bringing up ChatGPT with your students and letting them know that this is something that they can use. Now, do, again, warn them about some of the errors that it has and how sometimes it will give the wrong answer. However, I think you'd be doing a disservice to your students not to bring this up, particularly because many people don't have access to one-on-one tutors, and this would give them access to those sorts of resources that they may need. Now, to briefly touch on science, like I said I would, my experience with science is it's very similar to math and math's applications. However, I have found, at least through personal experience, that ChatGPT gets stuff wrong for science quite a bit more. There are just a lot more moving pieces when trying to solve a science problem in most cases, and I've found that ChatGPT has been doing a pretty poor job of solving science problems. So at least in its current iteration, I would recommend not using ChatGPT to learn or to review science subjects, at least until it improves, and I'll keep you all updated on that, as I will continue to be testing to see whether it's substantially improving. So that is pretty much all I wanted to cover in this video. If you enjoyed this video and are interested in AI and its applications to school, in particular ChatGPT, make sure to subscribe, as I'll be continuing to release videos covering many more subjects, as well as just general news and information about AI and its developments. So if that is all interesting, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.